Galatians 3, King James Version. O foolish Galatians, who has bewitched you, that you should not obey the truth, before whose eyes Jesus Christ has been evidently set forth, crucified among you. This only would I learn of you. Receive ye the Spirit by the works of the law, or by the hearing of faith? The Spirit the verse is referring to is in 2 Corinthians 3:17. Now the Lord is that Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there's liberty. What the law basically is, Joshua 22. But take diligent heed to do the commandment and the law, which Moses, the servant of the Lord, charged you. But also then we have to keep in mind that the New Testament, what the New Testament basically says, how the law was completed or fulfilled. You can find an example of that in Romans 3:23. Therefore by the deeds of the law there shall no flesh be justified in his sight. For by the law is the knowledge of sin, but now the righteousness of God without the law is manifested, being witnessed by the law and the prophets, even the righteousness of God, which is by faith of Jesus Christ, unto all and upon all them that believe. For there is no difference, for all have sinned and have come short of the glory of God, being justified freely by the grace through the redemption that is in Christ Jesus, whom God has set forth to be I don't know how to say that word, but you guys can read it. Through faith in his blood, to declare his righteousness for the remission of sins that are past, through the forbearance of God, to declare, I say, at this time his righteousness, that he might be just, and the justifier of him which believeth in Jesus. Basically, it says we all failed the law, and that's why God sent his son to pay the penalty for sin, which is death. Are you so foolish, having begun in the Spirit, are you now made perfect by the flesh? God Jesus showed us how we failed the law, mainly because we didn't understand the law and then changed them to do them how we saw fit, ultimately leading us to fail. It's like we just took them at face value. And there are some examples he gave us, like when he says in the book of Matthew 5, ye have learned that it was said of them of old time, thou shalt not kill, and whosoever shall kill shall be in danger of judgment. But I say unto you that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment. It's kind of heavy. Or ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, thou shalt not commit adultery. But I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her has committed adultery with her already in his heart. So no, we aren't made perfect through the flesh. If anything, it's quite the opposite. That's why he says we need to be circumcised in the heart, but more on that part later. He therefore that ministers to you the Spirit and worketh miracles among you, doeth he by the works of the law or by the hearing of faith? Even as Abraham believed God, and it was accounted to him for righteousness. Faith, you can find it in the book of Hebrews 11:1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, and the evidence of things not seen. Abraham is a man God tests in the book of Genesis, asking him to give an offering. Not an offering how the law asks for in the book of Leviticus, but God asked him something not in the laws, to sacrifice his son, only to be stopped and then asked for a ram instead. I know it sounds kind of weird and hard to comprehend because God doesn't really explain it on why he does it, unless you're really searching for God's truth. It's hard to find that answer. And the truth is, God was giving a symbol of things to come. But first, more on the promise to Abraham. Basically what it was about, you find that in Genesis 22. And the angel of the Lord called unto him out of heaven, and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Here am I. And he said, Lay not thine hand upon the lad, neither do thou anything unto him. For now I know that thou fearest God, seeing thou hast not withheld thy only son from me. And the angel of the Lord called unto Abraham out of heaven the second time, and said, By myself have I sworn, saith the Lord, for because thou hast done this thing, and hast not withheld thy son, thy only son, that in blessing I will bless thee, and in multiplying I will multiply thy seed as the stars of heaven, and as the sand which is upon the seashore. And thy seed shall possess the gate of his enemies. And in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because thou hast obeyed my voice. Then we see in the New Testament the fulfillment of that prophecy, where he gave his only son, but it was God doing it. You find that in John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Know ye therefore that they which are of faith, the same are the children of Abraham. And the scriptures, foreseeing that God would justify the heathen through faith, preached the gospel unto Abraham, saying, In thee shall all the nations be blessed. So then they which be of faith are blessed with faithful Abraham. For as many are of the works of the law are under the curse. For it is written, Cursed is everyone that continueth not in all the things which are written in the book of the law, to do them. And the book of James 2:10 says, For whosoever shall keep the whole law, and yet offend in one point, is guilty of all. But that no man is justified by the law in the sight of God, it is evident, for the just shall live by faith. And the law is not of faith, but the man that doeth them shall live in them. Christ has redeemed us from the curse of the law, being made a curse for us. For it is written, Cursed is everyone that hangeth on the tree,